Feast of Dedication, Feast of Lights. Under the Jewish religion, it's called Hanukkah, right? There's so many of our brothers and sisters out there who don't realize what this day is all about. For our people and for the world. This is why this particular lesson, even though we're on or dealing with the Feast of Light, what they call Hanukkah, or dedication, most in the world doesn't know what it means, especially with our people coming back to the knowledge of ourselves. But through the Most High and His Word, I hope today to give edification. By titling this particular lesson, listen to this. Now, it's deep how I was able, through the Spirit of the Most High, tie it together. The Dark Side of America is the title. Now, why on the Feast of Dedication are we talking about the dark side of America? Well, this lesson in particular, going into this holy day or memorial, because it's more so a memorial to be remembered, going into this memorial to be remembered, we must realize how the nations were able to circumvent us, what their true intentions against God's people were, and how they were able to hijack and destroy everything at the same time, folks, setting up a satanic republic. A satanic republic. They lied to us and told us that America was built on morality, the Bible, Judeo-Christian values, when it's the exact reverse. Now, why do I say in this lesson, the dark side of America? Well, because there is a dark side. But dark implies there must be light. And the light is the children of Israel coming to the knowledge of themselves. Right here in America. So we're going to talk about this, the dark side. There's a hidden ideology within what we call the Western world republic, politics, religion, and it all intertwines in the bringing forth an antichrist system ruled by Satan himself. But how did it begin? How did it begin? It began with them destroying the only temple that could oppose them on earth. See, in order for Satan to set up his temple, folks, he had to destroy the temple of the God who banished him. I'm going to show you how this all comes around. And then set up a republic, an ideology, to eventually absorb the children of light, God's people, into his satanic plan to one day war against the heavens. Let's go to 1 Maccabees 1 and 10.
1 Maccabees 1 and 10.
Come on.
And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus.
Out of the Greeks came out a wicked one. In the 2nd century. A matter of fact, this more so was around the 2nd century BC, by the name of Antiochus Epiphanes. The Greeks. Antiochus Epiphanes. Read.
Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been in hostage at Rome.
Who had been a hostage at Rome. Come on.
And he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
And in those days, there went out from amongst our people wicked men. So Satan cannot bring forth any program on earth without initiating us into his order. Read.
1 Maccabees 1:11.
Come on.
In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen.
Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen. So how would they get that today? Let us go and make a contract with the heathen. So instead of our holy days, we'll uphold their holy days. We'll even make one up. Instead of the Feast of Lights that was given to the Hebrews that gives us the history that point to their ideology, they would give us an African Hanukkah. What the Hades is Kwanzaa? Africans didn't even create that. Africans don't even know about a Kwanzaa. So let me give you an example of those who would make a contract with the heathen to do what? Here's the ideology that has destroyed our people, that keeps us from the light, the truth of ourselves and our God. Read it.
Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
Let us make a covenant with the heathen, because since we lost our contracts and our agreement with them, we have had much sorrow. Let's make an agreement. Who's the modern day agreeers today? The modern day politicians they put before us. And guess what? It's intentional. They resent us and they have nothing for us. They're in position to make sure we don't have. Why? The more they can keep us out. Think about it, the powers who are using them. The more these people, these symbols that we think are for us, the more they grow in popularity and finance. It's incentivized keeping us down. Pacifying our people. At the same time seeking to utterly eradicate and exterminate us. And these people know it. They're behind closed doors. The example are the politicians who you think represents you. The other thing, on the religious side of things, the AME Baptist Church, one of the first organized Christian black churches since the beginning of this country. Many great men and women came out of the AME church, but what we didn't know is that church in of itself began with Prince Hall Freemasonry. To rival the churches that were in the Midwest and in the South, Oklahoma and others, that was teaching us at the same time in the 1800s that the blacks coming off the ships are in fact the true children of Israel. And those who own the ships, those who own the banks, the ports, it's the same people who control travel today. Instead of labeling us as Israel, the first ship that came over was called the SS de Judah. You think they didn't know that we were Judah? They knew. They have a religion of Judaism. But yet, instead of calling us Judah off of the ships, on their bill of sale, they renamed us Negro. And this would not have been possible if there weren't the educated and those of understanding who looks just like us. This wouldn't have happened if they weren't complicit, if they weren't in agreement with concealing this truth from our people. They knew. So when you see a documentary of others saying Hebrew to Negro, that's not a title of a documentary. That's exactly what happened. God never named the man Negro. Now, of course, there's 12 tribes, but why is this concentrated focus on the black man in particular? Even though there's many tribes, Ephraim, Asher, the Mexicans, the Colombians, the Balikwa Taino, the North American Indian, the Aborigines of Australia. Why do they have a concentrated foot on the black man's neck? Because it was prophesied in the Torah they read, our Torah, that it would be Judah who would one day gather the rest of his brothers. If we keep a foot on Judah, the other tribes stay scattered and divided by default. If we can destroy the black man, and on top of destroying the black man who is Judah, pacify the rest of the tribes, we can initiate them against their own uprising or kingdom. Hence the reason you see immigration today. Over 11 million people just led in the country, not because they like these people, not because they like the other tribes that they're letting over. They're using them to leverage against Judah. Before we get to them, they're going to initiate them in that same old Greek program of divide and conquer against Judah. But any tribe in these last days aligned with the enemy, understand that you're fighting not just against Judah or Israel. You're going to find yourself to be fighting against God himself. So when we talk about the dark side of America, it's about social engineering, dividing and conquer, keeping Judah down. And this is where the Romans learned it from. Antiochus, the Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that he used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited.